talked about a bit in Champ Select, where you want to give Afro the playmakers, you want to put him on comfort picks, and perhaps leave it so he can have some sort of a counter pick to those other champions. And
yeah,
it didn't really work out for them in that game. But I really do like Aphromoo on the playmakers, regardless. And Karma is just not really a playmaker in my mind.
I agree, but you're seeing what Immortals are doing with that kind of information is they're banning away this Sivir, right? They're removing the option,
right? And it makes it tough for both sides because you know, if you're CLG and you're relying so heavily on Afro to make these plays, and you have to give up draft disadvantages because of that, that hurts you. So
exactly, like if it's already an S tier champion, you're not willing to pick it yourself, you should ban it. Yeah, right? Like at least a champion like Azir or Soraka, you could contest. Like we know Afro plays Soraka, he did it at MSI, did it very well, made everyone ban it away from him. That's actually a contestable champion. Karma, if you're not willing to play it, that's almost a mandatory ban, I feel.
So Vladimir up this time, Ryze up. A lot of the kind of OPs were taken off the ban table right now because I think they're looking to get these trades back and forth. So, you know, does Huhi select the Ryze? Does he go with the Vladimir? Both champions he likes to play. You can see that the bans really were changed a ton. Jax, Bard, Sivir, you know, Rumble, Soraka, Malzahar. So this is a totally different banning phase, and Azir is going to be left up. Ryze is going to be left up. Vladimir's left up. These are basically guaranteeing that you're going to get some OPs. It's kind of just like, what trade do you make and what advantages can you carve out?
And that's why you're seeing the first pick Rek'Sai, which is kind of believed to be the best of the bunch in that regard, that no jungler quite comes close to that. And CLG also, keep in mind, if Azir shows up, they were willing to play Aurelion Sol into it before. This time around, though, they're going to grab the Ryze, which I think will make it a flex. I can see a world where Darshan plays as champion himself. But also, they go back for the Gragas there. The Elise that Reyna... Well, it doesn't really matter, of course, the Elise won't get played because Rex will get picked up, but Xmithie playing the same champion again, and yet again, actually, right? They're just showing a champion you're already seeing. They don't care about the karma. They're letting Adrian play what many consider to be the best support in the game without any contest.
Yeah, and I think they're consciously making that decision.
They are.
Whether or not it's the right decision, they're definitely going into this saying, you know what, we're going to give up karma, but we're going to get more back, or we're going to get these advantages in other ways. So we'll see if they're able to do that. At least this time, Sivir's taken off the table by Immortal, so it isn't that Sivir Karma combo. So that is something going for them. But at the same time, Lucian, a champion that Wild sort of loves to play, Lucian Karma, a devastating lane in that 2v2, who he has gotten his Ryze. You know, as you said, it could be flex top, but I personally would be shocked because I've never seen Darshan actually playing it. Doesn't seem like his kind of champion, but I'm happy to be proven wrong there. And it's looking like Ashe Azir, a very powerful setup here. Turtle, although he loves to be that playmaker, you know, you heard them talking about it. The analysts, they were saying how he's playing a lot more of the kind of supportive AD carries, and that is very much so the meta. The snipers, you got your Ashe, your Jhin, your more supportive engage ones like the Sivir. So he's happy to play that role, and he does shine there as well.
Right. And by contrast, you do occasionally see champions out there like the Lucian, like Twitch, especially in China, where you have the more damage-focused ones coming around. So maybe you see those options coming through. There's the Taliyah Hover. That was banned by Immortals in Game 1. That ban was since dropped the rest of the time in this draft phase, but to play it, they would have to flex the Ryze top.
Yeah, well, I was going to actually say, Taliyah can go top. Taliyah is something that is in solo queue. It's actually pretty annoying in top lane, and it's actually one of the highest win rates in the game as far as top lane goes. It has been played a little bit, maybe once or twice. I don't know how many other times. It was in Europe. I'm not sure if it's shown up in other regions in top lane, but it is actually something that can go top. Whether or not they're just hovering that remains to be seen. Jhin gets locked in, and it's going to be Morgana once more. Morgana Jhin, very strong lane. This is one of the kind of original fantastic lanes for it because you can proc the targeting with your W very easily. You have follow-up CC if you land the binding, you easily land the Jhin root. If you land the Jhin root, you easily land the binding. So it's kind of back and forth with that. The CC chains can be devastating. You have to be very careful about it. It's going to be the karma almost for sure for Adrian here, I would imagine.
Yeah, seems incredibly likely. So now it's going to be the blind pick top laner required for Immortals. Kind of Legend Gaming, I think it was smart, even if they were willing to flex a Taliyah in there, to not pick it yet, to make sure you see the matchup first. There's no reason not to. That's going to be an uncontested champion, almost for sure. And so Immortals, what will they pick alongside this 90% likely Karma? They need a top laner. They got to round out a team that already has a tank, already has plenty of engage tools. Honestly, anything would work here. The comp already works 4v5, basically.
And Huni likes to play a lot of different stuff, so you can see him go with some of those different options. They're looking engage heavy here with the Lissandra. You have speed ups, you have the Ashe Arrow, you have the Lissandra locked down in the follow-up. I think this is very much a response to the Jhin. Jhin, someone who has to put himself in these dangerous situations. Ryze, also someone who's very susceptible to CC. Ryze wants to go in aggressively, you can just ult this target, take him down, break up his combos, so that makes it very tough for him. They do have the black shield from Aphromoo to disrupt that, but he's going to have to be on point. At the same time, Lissandra can fall behind to some of these, S-tier top laners as far as the 1v1 matchup goes.
Almost every bruiser outscales.
Yeah, it can be tough later in the game.
All right, well, we'll see what the choice ends up being at Jax and Aurelia Trundle. Well, Jax banned off, but the rest certainly could be options. And you even mentioned the Taliyah as a possibility, though that seems less likely into Lissandra now at this point.
I doubt it. It was one of those things they're probably just hovering it, but it is always possible. Singed also probably not happening, but would
probably
be
not great into Lissandra. Yeah. But who knows? It
feels like that would probably be a pretty awful matchup. Okay.
Hecarim seems the most likely of those hovers, and it is going to be Hecarim in there. Yes, okay, so he already wants to build Spirit Visit, now even more reason to do so up against a mage up in the top side, and Darshan gets a nice mix between being a solid 1v1 champion, a solid split pusher, but also a great team fighter to join in with the Ryze they grab for themselves. Vladimir not even grabbed in this draft phase, and it's Stixxay bringing the utility just like Wild Turtle is.
I also feel like this is a pick that fits Darshan's playstyle very well. Even when he was playing the Aurelia, someone who loves being inside lane, split pushing, you can see how often he's just hanging around mid lane, looking to create fights, wants to be there where the action is. And Hecarim is a pick that can create those opportunities, can create those fights. That in combination with the Jhin, you're looking to open up with the Jhin ulti, have the Hecarim, raining in on them with the Gragas. You have this explosive engage, makes it very hard, very chaotic for the picks like the Ashen, and both these kind of sniper marksmen are going to have to play it extremely carefully with explosive top laners, lots of engage, a lot of dangers for them to avoid and take into consideration.
Definitely agree. So some scary champions running around the map hoping to prey on their opposition. So it's now up to the final game of the series. You've got one last chance at home to vote on Twitter and tell us who's going to be winning this one. Hashtag CLG win, hashtag IMT win. Your thumbs better be warmed up. It's tweeting time. It's time to let us know who's going to take this match home. Counterlogic Gaming have their work cut out for them. They play Immortals today. They play Cloud9 at the end of the week. They play Team Liquid at the beginning of the next one. They face the top of the league in a row to prove if they are really made of the stuff that's required to win the playoffs again. CLG in Game 3 against Immortals. Meanwhile, on the blue side, locking in a playoff spot if they win this one.
Yeah, Game 3, baby, and it's a big one. As you said, confidence booster, build the momentum towards playoffs for CLG, and lock it in for Immortals if they win here. Both teams a lot on the line and with a lot to prove, especially for CLG. Line of scrimmage starting here right now. It is the CLG bot lane looking to sneak up here. Can they get anything done here onto Huni? He has to level the E. They actually caught him. They caught him with a...
Ooh. Running over the wall. Wow, what a bind from way far away. Lands a chain of crowd control. Okay. And Huni flashes now. Will they continue this chase? Of course, he's down to 100 HP.
They're going to set it up.
Okay, Xmithie has the aggro. He's going to pull aggro. Has to jump away from this one. But first blood comes into Darshan. He will die, but was he hit? He was hit. So at least the gold goes back over. Huni did earn the little bit of experience for that one, but that is still advantage Counterlogic Gaming.
Wow, what a crazy start to this one. Not something I would have expected to see, but they make the collapse on him. They actually, do catch up to him, and they force him to level at E. So some clever pathing. This was kind of what they did last game, but it didn't pay off. And so he sees he's caught. He knows he can't get out. Only way is the E. But Afro, perfect binding, as you said, nails it. There's the body slam, follow it up, and they look for the dive. They are going to be able to pop that ghost and just go in for it. Xmithie just tanking it up, has the body slam out. Darshan will go down, but still worth it for that first blood. Going to be able to get himself, 200 or so extra gold and help quite a lot.
And I have to reiterate how perfectly Huni actually played it, making sure he attacked both the Gragas and the Hecarim to make sure he had an assist trigger ready for when those did die to the turret. He could have easily missed out on 300 gold. Played that quite well. Now Adrian looking to do the same thing he did in Game 1, just with better results.
Doesn't want to die this time. Doesn't want to flash into a wall either.
Actually, I guess from Game 2 I should reiterate, but either way, did manage to take 1 CS. So that's 1 in the books now for Adrian. Looking a bit better on him.
Definitely is. Also, remember, Flashless Lissandra could definitely be a target for those ganks if he ever does get into a difficult situation. But with the lane swap, Summoner's cooldowns usually matter a lot less. Either way, Ghost is quite a bit shorter cooldown. And the fact that Darshan is likely going to have Insight, Huni likely will not, just exacerbates that even further.
Hey, I gotta say, I realized this this game. Shout out to the production team. The top left corner, little picture-in-picture you're seeing, is actually cut out to make room for the portraits.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's a very specifically built. Huni dies to a turret. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, it doesn't really mean that much, except he won't get solo gold now. But
which does actually mean quite a lot when your opponent's already ahead and he's going to get the solo goal for himself.
That's
Plus, you're doing a slower turret trade. Like that's a pretty big mistake. But he's going to TP right back in. He knows he needs that gold. Can't actually afford to fall that far behind.
And they're going to get it pretty successfully now. So,
but the TP could matter. There's potential here.
You're absolutely right. It means more than I meant it to be. The flash was down regardless. We've seen people flash away from the turret. This time he flashed for a good reason.
Yeah.
Of course, he did still die. And yeah, as the turrets will be equalized, CLG are going to kill it a little bit later, despite the fact they didn't lose their top laner. That's going to be okay for them. Nice by Immortals, giving the blue buff over to Pobelter. Looks like this has been some really solid jungling. Counterlogic Gaming actually behind in gold despite their first blood, because Immortals have been playing that sort of part of the lane swap game just a bit better.
Yeah, some extra farm on a couple of their members. Huni has picked up some CS for himself, so we'll see how this is going to go. Afro looking to fish that binding, does hit it. Smithy's coming over.
Nah, he's not in range. They're going to be all right.
There's no way. At the same time, we do have Darshan backing in the top lane here. Pretty risky spot, actually. And he was being seeked out there by Adrian. Adrian was looking for it. Afro with the roam to mid lane, not going to be able to land the binding, and will take a trade of damage back for himself.
Padding Pobelter's stats a little bit. In the end of the game, you'll see him at...
He's pretty far up. He gets pinged out, and we could see Smithy actually make his way down there if they can keep him in range. Remember, no TP, no flash, and he is very far up, and Smithy is quickly making his way down. Smithy does have his flash. Can they find it?
Darshan level 2, heavily chasing Huni, knows for sure what's happening to him now. Nice route, still going to get tackled. Good damage across there, trying to dodge up to the top side, and yes, he's going to buy himself some more time, but no one's joining him yet. The flash, the body slam's going to land, the red buff there. Huni does not have any cooldowns. This will be a kill for sure, and Darshan makes sure to grab it for himself. 2 kills now on this Hecarim. He can catch up in levels, and, well, CLG, when their top laner was ahead, they won game 1 against Immortals. When their top laner was behind, they lost that game to Immortals. Once again, CLG, the recipe for success, the first ingredient's there.
Big errors, honestly, though, from Huni. Greedy to stay around that long when it was pushing. He had no business being there, as his jungler was not there to help him out, to help him push it in as he wanted to do. Now a massive freeze setup. He has no TP, gets punished for the wasted flash. And, you know, it's, well, not wasted, I should not say that.
Yeah.
But, he, 3 deaths at 5 minutes for Huni. Not the start he wanted, and was a guy who always had the reputation as being kind of someone you could tilt. We'll see if it happens this time.
It just might. He's already at 3 deaths. There's only been 3 kills this game, and somehow Huni has 3 deaths, and someone else does too. So, definitely rough right there. Executed to the turret as well, and that's always a possibility. We have to now track the rest of his plays here. Coming back to the side of the map, this time with Reignover in tow to shove that in, because Darshan had been somewhat freezing this. So here comes the hard push with Reignover to make sure this is safe. Down goes most of the minions. Most of the farm does go to Huni as well. 20 to 18.
That's what he needed to wait for last time, right?
Yeah.
He had to have his jungler there to push it in. You don't want to let them freeze, but if you give up your life, not worth.
Of course. And of course, some of that can also be on Reignover, right? Like, he shouldn't be on the left side of the map when top laner looks
But I don't like that argument. And,
really? Okay.
See, the way I see it is, if he's not there, he's not there. Now you make the best play for that situation.
You're right.
Right? So yes, Reignover maybe should have been there, but that does not justify the play from Huni. And I always...
the blame the jungler mentality. It's like, well, but you saw I was over there.
Exactly.
I'm killing a blue buff.
Yep.
Don't push the wave.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right.
So it's one of those things where, yes, Reignover probably should have been there and was not, but given that information, Huni made the poor play. Either way, it is in the past. Darshan going to have an advantage, has the early tier 2 boots, something that's pretty darn common on the Hecarim, has the XP advantage. Merc Tread's going to be pretty nice in that matchup.
Yeah, this could be some really solid things out of Darshan then, as he's going to look pretty reasonable here in this one. Pobelter, a lot of priority in the mid lane. And look at this, 65 to 49 in minions. Huhi low on mana, down a level as well. Finally catches up to 7 right here, but Pobelter got an early blue buff with some nice play from Reignover and is doing quite nicely.
So Huni just kind of basically soak XP standing in the wave here.
Darshan's 6.
Yeah, so Darshan is 6. If Huni gets spotted, he could be in trouble. And we have Smithy making his way down, so this is actually possible that he's going to get spotted out.
He should see the barrel, so he knows Smithy's around.
Yeah, they do ping it. Still,
That's the top side of the brush, yeah.
risky, but it's working out, and he's getting XP for it. So nice little play there from Huni, just trying to get whatever he can.
Doing the best he can. So we are seeing him play reserved, honestly. The tilt argument so far right now not holding water as Huni's playing the best he can for his deficit. And we'll see if anything more can happen. 300 gold lead for Counter Logic Gaming.
2v2 developing here in the bot lane, perhaps, as both junglers know a lot of action could happen. Reignover has to be there to protect his level 4, now level 5 top laner, and Smithy wants to try to extend this advantage. I don't think they can go for the dive, but if Huni gets collapsed on by Huhi, it could happen.
Okay, well, a bit of a skirmish on the top side of the map. The great flash by Xyntha to get away from the arrow, but now Aphromoo gets rooted up in place. Plenty of damage coming through, and they're going to find the kill. A 2-on-2 win for Immortals. Beautifully done by them, and looks like the Roam of the Rise does push Immortals off the lane down here, but can they get any more? A great knockback onto the level 5 Lissandra. The Azir Shuffle gets him away, and Darshan's going to run out of health. A great kill by Pobelter. He's going to get it onto Xmithie as well, and Immortals just picked up 3 kills in a row. What a beautiful set of plays on both sides of the map.
Absolute disaster for CLG as the 2v2 outplay happens in the top lane. Now Stixxay is going to perhaps die here.
Damage from the Astra can't do enough, and this snipe should happen. There's one picked up. Greedy by Immortals. One gets turned back around.
I'm pretty sure Turtle actually clicked on the turret there. Misclick, but in the bot lane, they go for the dive. Darshan dies without even using his ultimate. Pretty big mistake, honestly.
Definitely agree. But now he's got it up, and whoa, no, this is bad for Pobelter. There's a Horsey chasing you down, gets the kill, still has the ulti, and he's gonna fear back Huni. That's a 2 kill for Darshan. He is 4-2 and 0. Reignover hoping to skimp away, and he does slink over the wall. Whew, this game is intense. Gold is tied.
Back to dead even. What a crazy set of events. So overextensions on both sides, and we're going to get a replay here. It does start off well, but Turtle dings 6. Adrian is going to get 5, so they have level advantages. The exhaust onto Stixxay means Afro is going down, and now here is the dive that does get botched. Azir is on the way. They should have expected this. They should have known that the Azir was coming at this point, and they go for it anyway. Smithy starts it off. Darshan does not use his ultimate here. Going to get locked up, then pushed back. Does not see the opportunity, so not a good CC chain there. They lose 2 for 0, but the Immortals players stay around for a long time. And now here's the failed dive. Let's see if Turtle actually does click on the turret. So here it does start off. He backs off behind. Adrian looking to get the aggro. Turtle does throw out the W. Now this is where I thought it happened. Nope. That's one. Okay, so it was no misclicks there at all. But he does get sniped out anyway. So well played by Stixxay. No mistake from Wild Turtle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Stixxay still had heal up. But when they killed Aphromoo, I believe Stixxay never cast it during that fight. So he heal baited for his own death.
Ooh, gets caught. Pobelter in trouble.
Yeah, the root is on. Pobelter finally does slink away.
He's coming down from the bot side, though. They're looking for this.
I don't know if Gragas can reach him in time. The snipe going to come through. Not in range anymore. And the curtain call just not deep enough. He walks away with it.
Call there. Pobelter gets out 2-1-0 on the Azir up in CS. Pobelter just seems to, no matter what the situation is, be doing well in these games. So really fantastic stuff from him, but CLG does get the damage on him, and Azir does not have TP, so they're going to be able to push this in, perhaps go for the Dragon, get something for themselves. And one thing to point out here is Cloud Dragon for the Hecarim actually kind of is combat stats as far as your devastating charge gets more damage based on that movement. So
his first hit is going to do more damage.
Yeah, we'll see if it does come into play. They get the wave pushed into the bot lane turret. Huni is pretty brutally behind right now.
It's rough stuff right now. It's already 23 minions and several
coming
kills.
Down, though. Darshan pretty far up.
Now Darshan has his ulti and he has Ghost. There's very few ways to actually gank a Hecarim for real, and let's see, that's not going to happen right now.
Will be okay, as you said, but they're hanging around, and Afro has been sitting in that bush for a long time. It's the long con. Will they be able to punish Huni? Will this investment work out? He's coming around. He's going to be spotted
by a ward. Sees Reignover back. And he's going to walk right back out of this one. Yeah, no ultimate available. Wild Turtle knocks down that top lane turret. Split push once again successful here for the AD carry of Immortals.
Seems to get a lot of free time, especially on a champion like Ashe. They're investing all this time to try to kill someone who's kind of slippery like Lissandra, and admittedly they want that split pushing advantage, right? That's great. But,
that was
nice.
cute.
Arrow, there's the TP coming in.
And everybody's joining into this one, so this is a bad road ahead for Stixxay. Gets the root, but gets stunned up and goes down. A nice teleport play. He wanted to ult to wave clear. Wild Turtle just arrowed him and had the team join in. And now Afro on the backside. Can CLG find the engage?
He's still not 6.
He's coming up. So is Smithy. This could be a fight. No one else can join. The teleport's already been used. Pobelter's on the other side of the map. Bind is going to land onto Huni. Will Smithy get a little bit more? Doesn't want to pop the ulti yet. Rainover had been able to join, and CLG will not find the trade kill. So a great tower dive works out for Immortals.
And Huni has actually been playing this very well, as far as from already being at the deficit, because CLG spent so much time sitting in the bot lane. Afro was in that bush for like a minute, and Rainover, was down there protecting him. Smithy spent a lot of time down there, so CLG have multiple members in the bot lane. They lose the turret top lane. They lose their AD carry on the TP play. So Immortals gets ahead off of this, even though there is still an advantage for CLG. This is a nice response for Turtle, and he sees that Jhin ulti getting popped. He wants to actually just clear out the wave. In comes the Ashe arrow. That gets landed.
And he wards with the teleport. Beautiful play.
Yeah. And so the binding to follow it up there, the root from Adrian, and now no chance really for Stixxay. He did not have his splash, so he basically just had to stand and fight.
Wow, so a nice dive, an impromptu win by Immortals, but a great call nonetheless. Adrian, Wild Turtle saying, hey, get here now, press the button, let's kill this fool, and they did it. And now it's a 1,200 gold lead for Immortals in this third game. Counterlogic Gaming starting to get some answers wrong in their test now, as Game 1 looks so good, but the rest of the match is getting, honestly, progressively worse now.
They're trying to basically put so much in on Hecarim this time, and in Game 2, they really ignored Darshan. Game 3, they're basically going kind of all in on him, and they got him this advantage. He got the early first blood. They got a lot of stuff going for him, but because they have not been able to continuously convert, and they're, as a result, giving all this free time to Turtle, who took down the turrets, that has given Immortals their lead, and it's basically going to be on Darshan to convert. He needs to get some kills. He needs to make something happen if they want to be able to get something out of all that investment. At the same time, CLG fast here on the turret should be able to take this out as it's 5 members here already. A lot of damage being done.
They have the damage. Arrow's going to land. Smithy,
nice
great.
Black Shield.
Black Shield and Bodisim get him away. They turn back into Rainover, dropping him to about 2/3 HP.
Huni's coming.
And here comes the flank attempt. Smithy is low with no ulti, but he does have flash. Darshan is going to spot Huni. Gonna knock him around. The flash, oh, he still gets away. Huni not going to get rooted either. Gets himself out. The flash was burned by Huni himself, so a loss of a couple of spells out for CLG.
And Darshan still has his ult. The ult gets popped here by Stixxay. They could look for the engage. Darshan coming from the side. He has everything available.
A bind on Rainover, locking him a little bit lower, but Rek'Sai builds very tanky and is going to survive that.
Smithy got too low there. They could not afford to go for the engage. Darshan does not want to go in for the solo mission, and he's about to complete his Trinity Force, so has that done now. We'll see what he can get done. He really does need to start getting some work done, as had such a big advantage, has not been able to get anything done with it. But Afro looking for the binding.
Trying to make the play, and they get the flash out of Adrian. If he ran to the right, he would have caught him. He had to flash downward to get away from the entire encounter. Good lead by Afro, saying, you must turn around and get into range of Huhi, or you must flash.
Someone's got to get this bot lane wave, and no one's going. Stixxay gets caught.
Black Shield is on. It makes him survive enough for the damage. He's going to slink away just barely. Gets the root onto Pobelter. No further follow-up, but very tight. Stixxay lost both of his summoners for that one.
Why is Darshan going top lane when there's a massive wave bot going to be crashing into their turret? He's TPing now for the flank. He's going for it.
Going for the flay and knock back into Rainover. Still healthy enough on him. Huhi kiting away. Stixxay out of Eld as well. And Afro running out of HP. Huhi going to drop as well? I think so. Gonna go for the dive and they get it now. It's already been 2 kills picked up. Darshan looking for Wild Turtle. He's not going to get it though. It's Immortals winning all sides of this fight. It's a 3-1 in their lead.
Darshan never used his ultimate. Again, I don't know what's happening. He comes in on that fight. He could have actually killed off Pobelter very quickly, or Turtle. Instead, he never uses his ultimate, gets pushed back, gets kited down, and gets taken down, and I don't know what's happening with that.
I don't know, man, but it's been rough stuff now. CLG finding weird situations where they're just not making it happen.
Yeah, unless our client is bugged on the Spectre client or something, but the engage comes in from Smithy, not too effective on that ultimate. And now here from the bot side, you're going to see Pobelter gets engaged on. Look how low he is. He should have ulted over the wall, try to finish him off right away. Instead, he just starts fighting. He's dueling against Turtle, and he has multiple members low, but never used his ultimate. Could have probably picked up a quick kill or two, which could have allowed them to potentially turn around that fight, or at least have it go better for them. But
totally agree.
Yeah, I'm really shocked at how that went for Darshan.
Now, unfortunate there. Of course, you saw Immortals make a great play themselves, getting rid of the CLG backlane pretty quickly on in that fight. And the spoils of war from that prior victory is getting the first Cloud Drake of the game. All 3 in this match, actually, has been Cloud Drake first. And Immortals now getting the better of this one as they also get a blue buff now to Pobelter.
The gold leads for Immortals are just getting very significant. Over 1,000 gold in the mid lane, over 1,000 gold in the bot lane, and Huni is barely behind Darshan at all anymore. Darshan just has not been able to do anything with this. He's not on a champion that just goes and kills all the turrets for free. This is not a Jax, right? You still do have to join in on the fights and look for those flanks, which he did get, but was not able to convert whatsoever.
And that can mean rough things now for Counter Logic Gaming, who even though they put all the eggs in the Darshan basket, it seems the Onslaught of Shadows is not really coming out of him, and he's just not been able to use that advantage any further. Not like game one where he was able to get back into the team fights.
And to be fair, Smithy fell flat a little bit on the engage, really just ulted Reignover, who's full tank, back in the team. He needs to try to get those targets like the Ashe, or like the Karma, or like the Azir, someone that they can kill off very quickly. So they need these engages to work, but Immortals is playing it very safely, and they're extending their lead, and if you let them extend it too much, you run out of time.
And look at what they're doing. Reignover buying so much time as, look, Wild Turtle's completely safe to just go for that one. Arrow sent across the map, won't quite find the dive. And they won't pick off Huhi with that one, but there's been a lot of threat right now. Another turret picked up 4-1, by the way, in the turret score. Despite the fact the gold is pretty close, the kills are very close. Immortals are clearly playing the map much, much better, and it's looking like the CLG of the old weeks now. Game one looks so good, and it's gotten progressively worse.
Yeah. Game 2 was definitely very close. Game 1 very close too, but did go the way of CLG. This time, things are looking tough, but they're not out of it just yet. They need to get some good engages, though. Darshan going to look for the 1v1. We'll see if he can get it. Can follow with the ultimate. Does pop it. Fear misses, though.
But he's going to have enough damage to chase down Huni. Gets the kill picked up with the ghost popped in, and that's the kind of stuff that CLG needs. That's got to keep happening if Counter Logic Gaming want back in on this game.
Exactly.
Gold a bit closer, and a nice blue buff picked up by Smithy. Tags it and does not let the steal come through.
So 6-3 still for Darshan, having a great game for himself. Needs to continue to get those kills, though. Needs to convert. And it is going to be Huhi splitting it out. So CLG has that win condition. They can go for 1-3-1, and it's going to be tough for Immortals to match them. At the same time, Immortals as a 5-man squad are so frightening. They have Ashe Arrow for engage. They have this super powerful Azir, the shields to protect them, nice front line and follow-up engage. They've got it all as far as that team fight, and it's going to be tough for CLG to find their ways in.
Well, CLG can get individual kills pretty easily, I would think, right? You've got the double TP flanks. You've got both Jhin and Morgana, who are great at finding individual targets. The Hecarim flank can do that as well. The 5-on-5s, though, yeah, they haven't really found purchase there. So maybe that's been the difficulty if Immortals can keep out rotating them.
And that's what it's been for Immortals. Immortals hasn't had to be just slaughtering team fights to get this gold lead. They're up over 4,000 gold, and they've done it through better map movement, through grouping as a team and chipping down turrets and sending your players to the right lanes to pick up additional farms. So they've done a very good job for themselves, playing it very intelligently. Ryze pretty far up here, may get caught. Looking like he's going to be caught. We'll see if he can do anything about this, but...
Teleport up for Darshan, but so is Huni's. This could be the thing. You've got Rek'Sai coming as well. There should be no chance for Huhi there. He's going to pull the teleport in. Going to go in onto Adrian, puts the shield on himself, and Huhi buys enough time. Here is Darshan. Now, can they find the kill? It'll be a trade, I believe. No, Adrian getting away with this one. And meanwhile, they actually got to pick off on a 6-say on the other side of the map, so Counter Logic Gaming falling apart.
Losing fights on both sides, and Darshan completes the TP, has to ult out, so now they don't even have that available. Going to be very tough for them to defend here without their mid laner, without their AD carry. CLG looking to make something happen on
Darshan gets a black shield, gets exhausted. They find the body slam flash, the knockback comes in, and they take out the two mages. Over aggression by Immortals, but here comes the re-engage. Exhaust on Wild Turtle buys some time, but they can still chase Smithy. Plenty of damage dealt there. Reignover under the tower seems to ignore it all, and Turtle actually finds the side kill on the Darshan, who seemed to have stayed a little bit too long. Turtle was hitting the turret not long ago, and Darshan still got picked off. Mid lane, tier 2 will go down.
Binding.
Binding, I don't know if it means much though. Reignover can body block this, stop it for Wild Turtle. They will do so. He's going to walk away cleanly enough. He got out of range, but there's the kill. The teleport coming in for Huhi. The body slam in, and they will pick off one more as the AD carry drops. Now Reignover wants to chase Smithy, but doesn't have the damage output. Ooh, a summoner heal keeps Huhi alive, and now Reignover's got to be careful. Going to dodge the root for now, but the targeted one can't be done so. That'll be all the damage coming across, and that will be him falling. The final shot to come through, and that Stixxay picking one up. CLG finally ahead in kills, but still down 4,000 gold.
So tanky. And the binding ended up meaning a lot as it was able to delay for that TP from Huhi. So good job by CLG picking up the exit kills after kind of falling behind in that initial skirmish. And this is a long fight. So here it is. They see that they have given up the kills, but they spot an opportunity onto Pobelter. In for the flash body slam is Smithy, pops the LT, they pick up the first kill. And now it's Turtle. He gets exhausted, CLG needs to back off, but Darshan, he just stepped too close and he's gonna get slowed down. Flash comes in from Turtle, cleans up that kill. A bit of a mistake there from Darshan getting that close when he could not take the fight. Turtle playing well, but it meant he didn't have the flash for this. And Afro Moon nails the binding through, in comes the TP. The Jhin ulti to slow them down. Sure, you're blocking it, but in comes the Rise. Immediately down goes Adrian, and Huhi played this very well, dodging in and out at the correct times, always staying at low HP, but just enough to survive. Very, very well played. Kind of disheartening how long it takes them to kill off the Rek'Sai, though, and
yeah,
it's got to be frustrating dealing with that monster tank.
Yeah, only 2, 2, and 4, but he's gotten so much farm for himself, plus all the turret kills. 5 picked up for Immortals. That's why they're winning this game right now. Yeah, it is the macro play, it is the objectives being taken, and props to Immortals for doing this so well in this game right now.
Once again, it's the 4-man squad here in the middle for Immortals. Smithy getting pretty close. Has to be a bit careful. Jhin ulti opens up. There's no flash on Turtle.
1, 2, 3 onto Adrian. The final hit would kill him, and yeah, no one can block the shots. And now the root onto Reyna, where he's taking, but they got the knockback. Darshan to continue the tackle, and that is CLG finding 2 picks, and they go to Stixxay, so he's turning on as a actual damage source here. CLG owning a 5v3 with no enemy jungler.
This is big for them. They're looking to pick up the turrets, try to get some of that gold off the map. Sure, they're down, but it's mostly because of the turret gold. If they can clean some of these up, they can be right back in it. Yeah. And now they're looking for more. Huhi on the side, trying to zone them off. They want to push for more than just the 1 turret or threaten the dive even. And Hui's over on the side here. He has found Huni.
Adrian only revives now. Pobelter, ooh, almost got rid of this time. He does! That's big, and Darshan dives right through, and he picks it up. Beautiful by Counterlogic Gaming. He's able to kite away. Turret is not aggroed onto a champion. Huni gets slow, but he lands a stun. Now the re-engage on a Huni. Root's gonna land, pops his Zhonya's. Huhi exhausted, but he doesn't care. There's back on a Turtle. The shutdown, and he's gonna actually keep everybody alive. Wow, Wild Turtle picking up a couple for himself. Huhi running out of HP. Here comes Rain over. Here comes the trade. Guardian Angel popped, and CLG have now overdived this one. This Rise is gonna fall, contrary to his name. Gets some damage back on Adrian. Does turn one back around, but they still get the kill. CLG net still go positive on the play, but that is not the end they wanted to that whole encounter.
Yeah, definitely not. And it was a little bit of an overdive. It starts off very well. Afro again, he nails the binding. This is why you give this guy the playmaker. Darshan, beautiful start to the fight. Gets in, gets the kill. But now they do start to overdive a little bit there onto Turtle. Darshan, very low. He wants to go for the kill on Turtle as the binding lands, but he's so low on HP, does not go down. Had Turtle died here, this would have been great for CLG. Unfortunately, stays out around at low HP, able to add in additional damage, getting shielded up by Adrian. They pick up the exit kills. It was a good job here, though, by Huhi. Look at him. He's stepping around, and he's landing those Qs just through the very edge to avoid hitting Rain over and land on the support. So very well played there by Rise.
And he only died because Afro got a bind from over the wall. So now here we go. Black Shield onto a very fast-moving Darshan Hecarim. Black Shield will time out, puts the ward down, sees where young POV is, and instead says, no, it's time for Huni.
Okay.
Who delays long enough on the claw to get away. Teleport turns into nothing. CLG reset for the Cloud Drake.
Yep, Smithy coming down. The Dragon has been started. Wild Turtle on his way out of the base. He still has no flash. Has to be careful about that. But they caught Huni.
And Huni's got a self-ult to buy some time. Zhonya's is not gonna do yet enough. Damage still onto Huni, and they pick him up. Arrow's gonna land. Darshan should die for this one, and he gets it. 1-for-1 top lane. Zedek Smithy running away. Low health jungler. A double kill for Wild Turtle's Ashe, and a big knockback by Pobelter. He's getting all the damage across. A quadra kill already for Wild Turtle's Ashe. It's the pentakill to carry this game, and Immortals can take whatever they want.
Turtle shows up late, but he is huge when he does. Gets the pentakill for the team. It's going to mean Baron again, and an insane lead for Immortals.
Slow and steady wins the race for the proverbial Wild Turtle. Gets to the finish line in the end. It means Baron buff. It means a 7,000 gold lead, and it means a very likely match win for Immortals.
And CLG is just able to start these fights off well, but they're not killing the priority targets. And Stixxay is not able to punch through the front line. So here it goes. Yes, you're on Huni. Great. but Huni's able to delay a lot with the self-ulti, and they're not killing off the threats. Pobelter's at full HP in the back untouched. Wild Turtle enters the fight. He's untouched. And now, who's going to clean up this fight? Stixxay has to enter, and it's a great flash ulti here from Pobelter. That is the play of the fight. He's able to survive, and without Azir dying, without Ashe dying, there's no way you're going to win the fight. So CLG way overcommitted on the Lissandra. It's, you know, it's a 3-7, now 3-8 Lissandra that you're basically all-inning and blowing everything to potentially kill.
And he's buying enough time that it doesn't even matter. Darshan forced ult away from Reignover, and you can just see a champion that had gotten so many of the early kills is actually the death leader of Counter Logic Gaming.
Yeah. Tough for CLG. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to find these picks where they get them, but you need to select the right targets. And all the fights that they have really lost hard are because they're kind of choosing the wrong targets. They're all in on these targets that are just not going down for them. The fight that they had mid lane, they went so poorly, where Smithy, you know, kind of got the ult in on Lissandra and Reignover, and they couldn't finish him off. And now this one, once again, they go all in on Huni. He's not able to die before a self-ult. That means you have nothing left for Azir. No way to access the Ashe, no way to access the Azir, no way to win the fight.
And yeah, there's even more examples of that CLG target prioritization. There was the mid lane fight we had not long ago where they could have had tier 2 mid for free, instead chose to dive and gave up 3 lives for that one. Only one in return. And now CLG on the receiving end of some nice siege. Immortal knocked down. Bottom inhibitor turret is gone. A little bit of a root on the Reignover means almost nothing, and there we go. Inhibitor has been forfeited, and Immortal's up 8,500 here. Looking at maybe a little bit more as they get away from the captive audience. And
the best hope really now for CLG is getting some sort of a 1v1. They need to have Huni go up and kill off Huni in the top lane. If he can do it, that's a way to try to get back into this game. They need something major to happen, but it's looking like Huni may be cut off.
Reignover gonna make
sure that
fight happen. Claw goes in, no flash for Huni. Flashes away from the arrow, but now Reignover burns his own to try to make this fight happen. Rooted up in place, but he's still way too tanky on the Rex side. Nothing is gonna really work here in that first pick champion. Working quite nicely for Immortals. They look to close out the series. No dive just yet, but still plenty of damage being dealt. Darshan waiting for when he's going to dive into this fight. They've got to go before the turret falls, though, or they lose out that positional advantage.
Yeah, he's trying to bide his time. He is looking for it, has the Ghost ulti available. They need the perfect engage. They must kill off Pobelter or Turtle right at the start of the fight to have a chance.
It'll have to be next wave.
These guys are
will
massive.
Fall on the next wave. Immortals,
it's now or never.
Behind them. Okay, in 10 seconds, we see the climactic team fight.
Here
Teleport flank also for Huhi. This is the play that CLG need to make. Here we go for the fight. Xmithie, is it going to be you? Is it going to be Huhi? Turret falls first, and oh no, Huhi gets caught at the start, and the wall knocks back Darshan. They're going to just blow up the Rise at the start of the fight. The Guardian Angel popped a nice knockback explosion, and Xmithie's not going to find anything. Darshan does get in, but he only fears Adrian. The kite back is great by Immortals. They should be picking up the jungler. A knockup for Reignover. The arrow on a Stixxay. 2 kills picked up already, and Immortals were in control the whole time. Pobelter zoned out Darshan. The rest of the team picked up Huhi. The engage was desynced by Counter Logic Gaming, and Immortals should be taking it in this third game. The now miracle attempt. It's going to be Wild Turtle getting dropped out, and Afro finds a big stun. Adrian going to get picked off maybe soon, but the shield buys a lot of time. If Pobelter is still alive to get all the damage, they're going to pick off absolutely everybody. Huhi's next. He's in the sights, and he's going to get picked off. Darshan cannot win his duel either, and it is the ace for Immortals, losing only one the whole time. That's the game. That's the match. That's playoff secured for Immortals.
They lose game 1, but they come back. Huge 2 straight victories for Immortals. And as a 5-man squad that game, they just looked unstoppable. So aware of what CLG had to do to be able to take those fights. You know, Pobelter staying back, denying the entrance from Darshan. The team zones him out, collapses on the Rise, and they just shut them down completely. They knew what CLG had to do. They never gave them the chance, and CLG, they had their opportunities in this game. They carved out a massive advantage here for Darshan in the early game, was not able to extend it, was not able to take down the turrets, and I mean, in this whole game, it's only 2 turrets ever falling when you have this insane lead for your Hecarim, and they gave up a lot to get it. They were not able to execute on the level that it needed to extend it and really make it matter.
The CLG missing out on a couple of points they could have had here, but in general, if you want to ever learn how to shot call or play the macro game in League of Legends, watch this series from the Immortals' point of view, because in Game 1, they were behind the whole time, nearly made the comeback happening. I thought all their choices to siege were nearly perfect. In Game 2 and 3, they took wins, and they were off of outplaying CLG on the macro game. The number of turrets they were able to take unanswered despite having some disadvantaged matchups. Honestly, quite beautiful from Immortals. Again, cementing their spot in the playoffs. They are now several match wins above every team not named TSM right now. They've got 12 for themselves. The next closest one is 5 down. With only 5 more matches to play left for Immortals, they've actually nearly secured the first playoff bye as well. So this squad's still looking amazing. Their eventual showdown with TSM at the end of the split going to be super hyped as well to say who really is the #1 team in North America, because Immortals still look incredibly good. And I mean, it's a great team to be a fan of right now because they look very strong.
You still got to think, though, CLG can come out of this with their heads held high. There are some positives. They are certainly improving from their earlier showings in the season, and this was really a close series. It just felt like some of the team fight decisions and stuff were not quite there, and at the end of the game, they were too far behind in gold for it really to matter. As long as Immortals didn't kind of goof, and they really did not. They played it very, very well. But CLG, in those mid-game fights, when they were ahead, when they had the advantages, had they been able to get the correct picks, take down the Azir, take down the Ashe, and wait and get those perfect engages, maybe they could have done something. But there was 2, if not 3 fights in a row where Darshan didn't even use his ultimate, and you need to zero someone out on this Hecarim. You get the advantage with the Trinity Force, you one-shot the AD carrier or the mid laner. That's like the whole point.
Right. I mean, the entire CLG comp is very single-target focused, right? Like, Jin's got pretty limited damage output. You've got these single-target binds and whatnot, and they weren't able to zero them out, as you were mentioning. So, sad stuff for CLG. They do walk away with a loss, but at least some bright points showing they could play Immortals close. We'll see if they look good in the rest of their matches this week. But